Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Okay. I want to welcome everyone to today's workshop. This is a joint event between the PRISM Junior Scholars Program and the Student Research and Creativity community. And I want to welcome everyone. We're gonna get started in a few minutes. Just remember that I'm recording this. If you'd like to get the recording, I can send you a link to YouTube. And also that if you do not want your likeness on, you have to keep the camera off. And also you can use the chat if you have questions and you do not want to turn on your mic. That's it. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I just saw your good afternoons from the chat room. So I am the Associate Director of PRISM. And again, today we're going to be talking about summer research programs and also how to look for internships, particularly how to find them and how to apply to them. If you have any questions or you want to discuss later with me, my email will be on the chat. And you can always follow me on Twitter on @Edgardo_PhD. So I like to start my these type of workshops with this slide. This is the best career advice I've ever gotten. It says that la carrera perfecta es una en la cual tú tienes un trabajo que quieres hacer, que puedes hacer bien y que te gusta hacer. That means the perfect career for you in English is one in which you can do the job well and that you enjoy doing the work. And that was advice was given to me by a very, very wise person, Blanca Valentin Ramos, who, by the way, is my mother. She's a high school, or she used to be a high school career counselor. So I want to put your attention to two things in this particular piece of advice, and to convert the sentiment. The perfect career for you is one for which you have the skills and that you're interested in. So to be able to do that, you need to have a good assessment of what are your skills, what are the skills that are going to be needed for whatever it is that you want to do in your career, and come up with a plan to develop those skills. Also, make sure you have a clear understanding of what are your interests and why are you interested on those interests. Okay, so how can you develop your skills and how can you discover these interests? Obviously, you're all enrolled at John Jay in a college degree in various fields. The vast majority of you are forensic science and computer science with CMB toxicology, and then students from other majors that came to us from the OSRC community. So in your classes, it's a great opportunity for you to discover what particularities about your field you find interest. What are those classes? What are those labs in which you go and you end up coming afterwards, with your mind blown? It's like, wow, I cannot believe that's how that works. It's a great opportunity to get an introduction to a topic that then you can research on your own, and that you can understand your knowledge about particularities in your field, so you can identify those interests and also develop skills related to that career. Another way to do this is to do internships. Internships are a paid or unpaid period of time that you're working somewhere and you're learning by doing. You can also gain your skills and discover your interests by joining various extracurricular or co-curricular activities. Extracurricular is any school activity or event that is not related to your education. For example, clubs, sports. Co-curricular means stuff that is related to your education. For example, doing research with a faculty mentor, doing an internship, being a peer mentor where you help younger students move through the major, for example. Lastly is shadowing, either learning by observing, by looking at, so in summary, to summarize this, the best way to figure out if you like doing something is by doing it. The best way to demonstrate that you can do something is by having done it. And if you cannot do it, then at least witness it so that you can demonstrate to any grad school you're applying, any program you're applying, any job you're applying to, hey, I already did this, or or at least I have a good and solid understanding of what does the day-to-day look like. That will give whoever is reading your application a lot of confidence. Why? No one wants to hire someone that doesn't know anything and doesn't know anything about the job. So you want to take advantage of the application, be that to a program or to a job, to demonstrate to whoever is reviewing your application that you got it, you've done it before, or you have at least a good solid understanding and that you have the skills required to be successful at that particular activity. So let's start quickly and a brief definition of what is a summer undergraduate research program. And I will cover work and job internships in the second half. Summer undergraduate research programs, I'll start calling them SURPS from now on, are externally funded generally by the NSF, the NIA, the National Science Foundation, the National Institute of Health, the Department of Justice, the US Department of Agriculture, the Federal Drug Administration. All of them sponsor different type of academic summer programs like this. And these are opportunities for students to join a research project for about 8 to 10 weeks during the summer. These type of programs came out of legislation and this type of funding for these programs, because they're paid with your taxes, came out of legislation from the 1980s, in which there was a projection that by the year 2000, we were not going to have enough scientists to be able to keep up with scientific advancement. So at that point, the various US government agencies started investing on training, expanding the number of doctorates that we were producing and expanding opportunities for students to gain the experience to be eligible or to be to successfully enroll into postgraduate programs in STEM. It has expanded from there and it covers now most disciplines. Although I'll give it to you, most of the funding for research in the US is dedicated to the sciences. So science, technology, engineering, and math. That includes computer science. Other, also on behavioral sciences. And the National Science Foundation also covers social sciences and some humanities, but the Society for Humanities Endowment, I think it is, also can provides funds to some organizations to do this type of programs or internships. Most of these programs are aimed at students as colleges and universities that do not have the research infrastructure or funding to do to provide students with research experiences. At John Jay, we are teaching intensive research active institution according to the Carnegie institutional descriptions. So these type of programs are particularly designed for students like ours, where we might not have the capacity to provide all our students with research experiences, or the research opportunities are limited. They are also aimed to increase access to students who lack this research experience for X or Y reason, so that they have an opportunity to get that research experience, so that then when they apply to a postgraduate education program, master's, PhD, they can argue and they can talk about that research experience, and they can demonstrate that they know what it is and they are aware of it and that they are prepared to begin. It is also meant to increase the number of people pursuing PhDs. Again, because in the 1980s, we were fearful that we weren't going to have enough personnel in science to be able to keep the scientific enterprise and our competitive or international competitive in science and technology. Most of these programs are usually localized at research-intensive institutions. For example, NYU, Columbia, Harvard, most of the Big Ten institutions, and the R1 institutions are institutions that receive a certain amount of funding from the government dedicated for research through grants. They tend to be bigger schools in which most of the work done by the faculty members or personals are related to research. That's why, for example, John Jay is a research active, meaning that we have most of our faculty do research, but we really were research intensive because most of our the activities at John Jay are educational and educational in nature. They have structured programming, meaning that they're not just going to drop you in a lab and run away. They're going to look out for you. They're going to have additional components to the program to help you become a scientist or to help you develop yourself into a professional. And most of them, if not all of them, are fully funded, meaning that they will provide you with a stipend, they will cover travel, and most of them are also residential. They will provide you housing at the university in the dorms. Most of them are required that you stay in the dorm, even if you live on the same town. And although there are some of them that would allow you to live outside of campus if you live already there. And if you can demonstrate that that's not going to, and you live close enough that transportation is not going to be that much of an issue for you. So here's the question. I'm talking to you about this, but should you do a summer undergraduate research program? Summer undergraduate research program is a great experience if you're planning to go to graduate school. Why? Because you're gonna get an in-depth research experience, and that's what you do in grad school, so you can demonstrate you already did it. If you're unsure about the type of postgraduate school, there are summer programs for pre-law students. There are summer programs for pre-med students. There's summer programs for like SURPS for students that are considering going the PhD route. So getting you an experience under your belt will give you a good experience that will help you explore and will help you decide, yes, this type of schooling is for me, or you know what, it doesn't match my expectations. I don't think I'm going to like it. So I'm gonna start looking for plan number 2, or I'm gonna stick to what my plan number 1 was. Also, it's a way to figure out if a career in research is for me. Research is at its core, happens here and not here. It's not about the technical aspects of the research. It's not really about the data. Research is all about figuring out how to ask the right questions, figuring out how to figuring out how to come up with a good hypothesis, and figuring out how to come up with a good hypothesis, and figuring out how to figure out if the hypothesis that you came up with is the correct one by doing an experiment. That is the research part. The rest is the technical aspect, which we teach you in class, which is very important too. But what you go to these programs is to join a research team where they're asking the questions, and you should be making sure you're learning how to ask those questions. So most of you, or if not a particular portion of you, are already involved in research activities at John Jay. So why am I talking to you about this? Why should you have to go away? You already have a summer research program. You're 100% right. My colleagues here at John Jay, which particularly in the science department, I love and adore all of them. They are the brightest people. I cannot tell you how much I admire the ideas that they come up in the research and the amount of interdisciplinary and collaborative work that goes on at John Jay in the science department and also in other departments. The research that we do is pushing the boundaries of science, is pushing the boundaries particularly of forensic psychology, and also the boundaries of criminal justice reform. So what we do at John Jay matters. What we do at John Jay is important. Do you have to? Not really. You can continue working over the summer with your mentor. You can do that during the year. The more you do it, the more you become a scientist, the more you become a research professional. But there is a difference between the two experiences. When you're at John Jay, you're doing research part-time. You have classes, you have assignments, you have clubs, you have family members. You once in a while want to go out to have fun. I don't know why you would do that, but you know, once in a while you want to do it. So that sometimes get in the way and doesn't allow you to see what is a real full-time research experience where you're thinking, breathing, eating research all the time. This summer research come with the expectation that you're gonna be there full-time during those 8 to 10 weeks. These summer programs come with added benefits. For example, some of them provide you a GRE course. They either contract to Kaplan or they give it themselves. They allow you to pursue career exploration. They're going to have a network of alumni and a network of graduate students and alumni of the institution that they're going to can put you in touch with, so you can learn from professionals about how they got to where they're from. They also bring in, they also have a lot of events where they bring in either speakers from the institution or from outside to talk to you. Also, great opportunity to network, to meet other people or peers that are have your same interests, or also professionals, faculty members, or other researchers on the field. If you're thinking of applying to graduate school, this gives you that third letter of recommendation that everybody freaks out about. Great, you have your mentor at John Jay, maybe that one's from a class that's very related to the research you'd like to do. And then the third one, do I ask my English professor, or do I ask my math professor, or which professor do I ask? Hell, you get a second letter of recommendation from a researcher. And remember, the letter of recommendation, the best letter of recommendation is not generic, and it's established that the student can do what he's signing up themselves, what they're signing up to do. So if you have a letter from a mentor under whom you did research, they can say, this student did research under me, they have what it takes. So that carries a little bit more weight. You get increase your chances of getting a publication before applying to grad school. That is a big, big bonus. Also allows you to learn about other topics in your discipline, so you can potentially apply for funding through the NSF or the NIH before you apply to graduate school. That increases or pretty much sets you up to get into whatever grad school you want if you're able to secure one of those fellowships. A great opportunity for technical development. Maybe you end up in a lab where they do a technique, or they study, or they do a particular thing that no one at John Jay does. You get to develop that particular technique. Also, very important, you get to try out the graduate school experience. Graduate school, particularly the PhD level, you take classes here and there for the first 2 years. That becomes like maybe 30% of your day. You have a full-time job in the lab. You are there as a research assistant before you become a PhD candidate. And it is very different from undergraduate education, where your main concern is your grades and then you go to the lab. No, in graduate school, the important part is being able to contribute enough new information to humanities knowledge. So you spend a lot more time in the lab, and this will allow you to get that experience and also get it from contact with other people. You're going to be working in a lab that very likely has 2, 3, 4 graduate students. Very likely you're going to be assigned to work under a grad student or a postdoc. They've gone through the experience. They can tell you about their experience, and you can learn at least by witnessing that. Lastly, it increases your chances of grad school admissions. No one has ever done the numbers. I will give you that. So I'm going for this by my personal experience. Since I joined John Jay now 6.5 years ago, almost 7 years ago. What year is it now? Yeah, around 7. It's gonna be 7 years in February. Since I joined John Jay, many of our students in PRISM have done summer research programs. All of them, except for one student, have gotten into their graduate program of their choice on their first try. And that one student that didn't is because she had a bad experience at that summer program and wasn't able, the PI that they were under was not there, and when she went to ask for a letter of recommendation, she got turned down, not because of anything she did, just because the PI shouldn't have been taking summer students if they were not going to be taking care of them. That can happen, is very, very rare. And again, from the 30 odd students that on the last 7 years from PRISM that have done summer research programs, they've all have great experiences except for that one student. And that student is now in grad school. She was able to get into a postbac program, and she just began a PhD program this fall. So out of the students in PRISM that have done summer experiences, most of them, the vast majority, everyone except one, have gotten into grad school on the first try. So, okay, the animations in here didn't work out. I apologize for that. So why am I talking to you about this? I don't have to go away. So why am I still insisting about this? The reason for this is because I'm a big pusher of summer undergraduate research program, because doing one of those experiences changed my life. I did a first summer program at Purdue University and the second one at NYU School of Medicine. And these opportunities allowed me to see what research. I mean, I was working in a lab at my alma mater, but again, I was doing it part-time. I frankly was spending my weekends in the lab while doing a lot of growth curves. But these experiences allowed me to be in touch with graduate students, with postdocs that told me about their experience and allowed me to see myself in their shoes, allowed me to see myself as a scientist. Also very important, as you can see on those pictures, which I hold very dearly. I still save. This is from before iPhones. These were actual pictures. And the important part is the network that I was able to secure from that. On those pictures, I can point my roommate from college, who I met at a summer research experience at NYU, is in one of them. The other one, I stay in touch with the vast majority of them, actually. And some of them are either close friends or at least by now colleagues. And having participating in these opportunities have allowed me to join other networks that I am still active today. Like, for example, I'll talk to you a little bit about it later, the Leadership Alliance, which is a consortium of summer research programs. And through that network, I have met many friends. I have met many colleagues. Any of you PRISM URP students that did our summer research summer program this summer will recognize at least Teresita, which was one of our speakers this summer. If you've been at John Jay more than 4 years and with our program, you'll recognize Raquel, who used to be our outreach coordinator. And all these people I've met through the Leadership Alliance, and they are part of my professional network. And also of your network, because whenever you guys come out with questions that I don't know how to answer, I just reach out to them. So summer undergraduate research programs, as I mentioned, are typically structured. They're gonna be around 8 to 10 weeks of research in the PI's lab. So during that time, you set the schedule with their consultation. The life of a scientist, you can plan your schedule whatever way you want, but just be aware that sometimes your experiments come first. So if you have a time point at midnight, you have to be at midnight at the lab. Maybe it's on a Sunday morning that you have to go and collect your cells or download a particular data set. Then they usually have weekly research seminars where they either bring in faculty from the institution to discuss the research, or they have journal clubs where you discuss literature. They're also going to have opportunities for you to discuss your research project with your peers. They're also going to have professional development and skill development workshops or activities. For example, the GRE test, or they might have opportunities for you to network with alumni. They always have social and cultural events. All of these programs and most of our programs at John Jay and most undergraduate programming functions under the assertion that cohort building, meaning making sure you guys feel as part of the program and active participants in the activity, has a deep impact on you. That's why we all like to, PRISM students, we like to put PRISM in front of everyone. Same for OSRC, same for McNair or the honors program. We like our branding because we want to make sure that you take that. So the same comes for the summer programs. And the way to do this is to have some social opportunities for you to meet each other. Since these programs are residential and most students come from out of state, so it's a great, they give you a great opportunity to get to know the neighborhood, get to know the location where you're at. Finally, most of them will either have a symposium or small conference at the end where you go and present your results as an oral presentation or a poster presentation. It's a good opportunity for you to develop that skill too. They will help you prepare, they will pay for the poster, they will help you they will teach you how to make a poster, and they generally have everything very well covered. So how do you find SURPS? I love this graphic. It's from a New Yorker from 1976, and it basically shows New York and then the rest of the world. And I put this here because I want to remind you that there's a whole world west of the Hudson. New York City is the center of the universe, I'll give you that. But that doesn't mean that you should only apply to summer programs in New York and be focused only in New York. This is a great opportunity for you to go out. Why? Because in 8 or 10 weeks, you're going to be back. So you can find, have you ever wanted to go to Hawaii? There's plenty of universities in Hawaii that have summer undergraduate research programs. For example, in my case, I knew I wanted to do my PhD. I was thinking about staying in Puerto Rico and doing my PhD over there. I did the summer undergraduate research programs. I did the first at Purdue. Yeah, it was nice. West Lafayette, Indiana is a beautiful place. I didn't know better, so I didn't meet that many people, so I'm very thankful for that now, viewing how America is. But anyway, that's a whole different commentary. And then my second one in New York at NYU University. That's when I said, hell, I might be Puerto Rican, I may be from the island, but really, I'm a New Yorker. So that's what spending those 8 weeks in New York really let me see that I can live in New York. I actually really enjoy living in the city. I love meeting new random people on the streets and seeing all this beautiful diversity. So remember that if you limit your search to only NYU, Columbia, and Cornell, Rockefeller, and I don't know what other university is in Manhattan, Pace, and maybe Stony Brook, maybe if I want to take the train. That limits your chances. The more you apply to, the higher the chances of you getting into one of them. Worst thing that can happen is you apply to too many and you end up with too many options. Then the other one, the internet is your friend, Google. Just put summer research program and a name of an institution. Bam! It will. You'll be able to find it if they have them. Another term to look for is research experience for undergraduates. That connotation is specific for National Science Foundation funded programs. All the other programs are named whichever way they want. But generally they have some combination of summer research program, undergraduate, opportunity, experience. Use the terms, look around. You can also find them through joining professional organizations like the American Chemical Society, if you're a member, or the American Society of Microbiology. Most of them are going to have free membership for students. Take advantage of that. And you get into a mailing list, and whenever they have summer programs that they know, they're going to send them out. So you want to get those. All the information about this is out there. No one's holding it secret. It's just that most of them are not very good at advertising. You can also ask your mentor. They might know someone that knows someone at a school that has this program, and they might put a good word in for you. Networking is very important in science. And if you are a science student, by now, if you've never seen my face, you have seen my name from the 20,000 emails every year, particularly about internship, summer programs, and career opportunities. So through that listserv, I will send out these type of opportunities regularly. I don't hold anything secret, and although I am the associate director of research of PRISM, I am also, because this is CUNY and we all have 3-4 jobs, I am also the research coordinator for the science department. So your research experiences are under my purview, and that's why I email you so much. Then here is a good point for you to take a screenshot. All these organizations have either databases or have listings or have mailing lists that in which they share information for summer research programs. Científico Latino in particular is a new project they've been on for about 4 years. They just had a whole change in their structure. Is run by graduate students, and they are really active in the community, and they have a great database that they curate themselves. They also have a lot of advice on how to search and how to apply. And also they have a mentorship program that if you want to get a grad student mentor in a different institution, for you to have someone to talk to, someone that can share their experience with them, they will hook you up with someone from their list. The other one is Pathways to Science, which is used to be funded by the NIH and now is a nonprofit. That one is very updated, very much. That what they do is work on the website, and they also have scholarships. They also have fellowship both on the undergraduate and graduate and postgraduate level. So you should be going to it, even because scholarships are free money. You never know. The National Science Foundation, if you go to their website and look for RU, they have a database by topic and also by location. The Journal of Young Investigators is a journal that also has mailing lists, and the American Psychological Society. And they're going to have particular programs depending on their interest. The Association of American Medical Colleges have a database for summer programs for pre-med students that are research-based. The Council of Undergraduate Research, that one is behind a membership, but John Jay is a member, so using your email, you should be able to get a free student account. If you don't, let me know. Also SACNAS, which is the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos, Native Americans, and Native Americans in Science, has their opportunity board, which is a board where programs post their summer programs and also career opportunities. And finally, right now, ABRACAMS is the annual biomedical research conference for minority students. It's going on right now. Registration is about $150, and all research institutions that have summer programs are there. I will tell you that it ends tomorrow. So when I put this, I hadn't actually, no, it ends on Friday. So you still could have a couple of days, and they're having a virtual career fair. Okay, so I talked to you about the Leadership Alliance. There's a couple of consortia that groups together different programs. The Leadership Alliance, of which I am a part of, offers research experiences in the life, physical sciences, social and behavioral sciences, and the humanities at around 20 research-intensive institutions across the country. And through their application, you get up to you can apply to 3 different schools of their program. So that gets you, out of one application, you get 3 hits. And they have these charts, you have to download it, but they have these charts that tells you based on your discipline, find particular institutions that might be a good fit for you. The other one is the Big Ten Alliance, and the Big Ten Alliance Summer Research Opportunity Programs. It's programs are any of the, by now, I think 11 or 12 Big Ten institutions. Some of them accept a centralized application, meaning that if you apply through the Big Ten Alliance, you can get you can apply to most of their programs. So again, you get almost 10 programs for the price of one. There are databases I mentioned, the NSF and the AAMC. And if you're a science student, you should have gotten this on your email. And I send this every year. It has a big listing of summer research programs that we have identified that seem to match our interests. It is by far not comprehensive. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of this. So this is a good place for you to get started. If you are not part of the science department and you'd like a copy, send me an email and I will forward it to you. So to apply to the summer program, the applications tend to be very similar. They're going to have 3 components: a personal statement or statement of purpose, letters of recommendation, and your transcript. A personal statement is a great opportunity for you to introduce yourself to the person making decisions, so the person that is going to be accepting or not. It should list your interests. What are your goals? How will participating impact you? What do you plan to do with what you learned there? And and why are you applying to that specific program? Being generic on a personal statement is the keys of that. If you write, I want to do research because I want to save the world, and don't specify why are you applying to that program or to that institution, and don't specify what type of research you want to do, that goes into the round cabinet. It doesn't get seen. So you want to be specific. You want to talk to me about what are your interests, why do you want to do this, why that institution, who among their faculty member are you interested working with. The more specific, the better. Also, most of the programs are going to give you prompts. They're going to say, you submit a personal statement. In that personal statement, we would like you to discuss A, B, and C. So on your personal statement, if they tell you A, so the second paragraph should be about A. The second paragraph should be about B. The third paragraph should be about C. So you want to answer those questions. Don't be shy and don't be oblique about it. So if they ask you, what are your career plans? One of the paragraphs should start with, my career plans are to, bam. Don't make them search for it. So make sure the information is there and make it easy for them to find it. Remember, you're not the only person applying. They get hundreds and hundreds of applications. So if you make it easy for them, they're gonna look more favorably upon your application. The other ones are the letters of recommendation. You get 2 or 3 letters, they are gonna request between 1 and 3 letters of recommendation. You wanna choose faculty members that can talk about your skills with clear examples and that at least know who you are. So, in other words, they wanna make sure that the faculty member knows your name and knows who you are. Avoid just sending an email request for a meeting so you can talk to them so they can see your face, put face to letter. You can always ask for a strong letter of recommendation that gives them a good out. If they don't remember you, or if you did not cause the impact on them that you think you did, it gives them an in of, you know what, I don't think I can write you a strong letter of recommendation. I don't want to write something that might affect your application. So that happens, it's okay. Then you go to your next option. But I will tell you this, if you're thinking about master's programs, if you're thinking about PhD, medical school, law schools, letters of recommendation from faculty members, from full-time faculty members and tenure track faculty members have more weight. So it should be your goal every time that you go into a classroom that by the end of the semester, the faculty member should know your name, should at least know who you are, and should at least you should have a conversation with them about, you know, I'm planning to apply to grad school. I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know someone that does this that I can talk to? Don't just use them to go and ask questions about your class. All our faculty members are experts on their field. They have a good, strong network. So they might know someone that you can talk to about your career goals if they cannot talk about it themselves. Offer materials so that you don't just write me a letter, run away. No, you want to send them a resume. You want to send them, if you have your personal statement already written, send them a personal statement on that conversation. Make sure you explain what your motivation to do this particular thing is. If you have any academic assignment, any homework that you did for them, maybe attach it there so that they see, oh, and I'm gonna send you this so you remember me. And that way they can remember, oh yes, that's the one, I remember reading that one, it was very good. Never leave it for the last minute. We get all these requests all the time. It is part of our job. We're not doing you a favor. So that's something I get a lot of students, can you please, it's not a please, it's like, I thank you for asking, but it is my job. So if I feel comfortable and confident that I can write you a strong letter of recommendation, I will. If I cannot write you a strong letter of recommendation, I will tell you. And I do not write generic letters of recommendation or letters of recommendations that don't give enough details, because I know that these are keys of death. You send a generic letter of recommendation, you're dooming your students. So you want to give them time and you want to follow up with them, just a quick, hey, do you need something else? How's it going? Because sometimes we forget. And always it is assumed that you're waiving your right to read the letter of recommendation. You certainly have a right to request to read it, but it is polite to not. That's why you always ask for a strong letter of recommendation. I'm gonna go a little bit more into personal details because I know that it stresses a lot of students. There are many things that you should be, okay, I'm sorry, the animations didn't work out in my favor here. You should always include why are you passionate about your field? Why are you passionate about working in forensics? Why are you passionate about psychology, about criminology, about molecular biology? What about it really impacts you? What are your career goals? Do you want to pursue research? Are you exploring what research is? Do you want to get a job in industry as a researcher, or do you want to get a job in a government agency? Do you want to go into academia and become a professor? You should make sure you include that. You should always have a research description, whatever research you are involved in. It's very important that you sound like a scientist. Remember, a scientist asks questions and comes up with hypotheses. The rest is technique. You can use the LCMS with your eyes closed. Great for you. If you don't know how to ask questions and figure out what are the right controls to give validity to your results, you're not a scientist, you're just a tech. They're looking for scientists. You want to explain the research, not about what you mix with and what the results were. It's about the thought process. our project is about this, our lab studies this, my research project is about this particular area. What I'm studying is how A interacts with B. Or we believe that A interacts with B by affecting C and D. We're gonna measure this by looking at this, and that. And what we found was that indeed A does this, but because of our data says maybe that that our proposed model wasn't correct. So the next step is going to figure out what did we do wrong, or or test up a different hypothesis. A good science writing always mentions the controls. As controls, we use this. Why? It gives you confidence the experiment worked. Also, if you don't have research yet, most of these programs are meant to give you research experiences, particularly the NSF funded one. So they cannot require that you have a previous research experience. If they're funded by anyone else, either by themselves with the NIH, sometimes they can put a requirement that we require you have at least a year research experience under your belt. If you don't have a research experience, then here's my suggestion. Pick one topic, one particular theory, one particular topic about your field that you're passionate about, something that blew your mind, something that inspires you, something that you had joy while learning. For me, when I was in college and I applied to my first summer program, it was the microbial infallibility, the bacterial infallibility principle, which says that there is no naturally produced organic compound in planet Earth that bacteria cannot eat or cannot evolve the capacity to eat. That alone, I know that doesn't mean much to most of you, but learning that in class, I major in microbiology, so learning that on my first micro class, my God, it blew my mind that bacteria are everywhere and can do anything. So I just, that first personal statement, I just wrote a paragraph about it and said how I am excited about learning more about, and I ended up working on a lab where I was studying how bacteria could develop the capacity of eating a particular contaminant that was used on most dry cleaning services, no longer used, and that gives cancer. So I ended up, because I wrote about that, they placed me in a lab that I would work on something related to that. You want to include specific details about the school you're applying to. You want to talk about the research there and also about the organization. Why NYU? Why UCLA? Why University of Indiana? Why University of Nebraska? Why UT at Galveston and not UT at Houston? And also look for the prompts. What do they ask you to include? What to avoid? Sub-stories. Everybody has a C or a D in their record. That happens. Okay, there's a few freak among you that have all A's. Congratulations. But not everyone. Some the rest of us, we have that hidden C we're not very proud of. That's okay. Don't concentrate on that. They also don't want stories about, I want to work on cancer because, I don't know, my best friend died of cancer, and because of that, it's like, okay, that's inspiring, but it's not science. You're talking to another scientist, so you want to talk about what about the science. You can mention that, but your essay shouldn't be about that. They don't want to know about what inspired you from, they want to know about the science and why you're interested in the science. You don't want to talk about destiny. I've always wanted to do research in this, or I always knew I was going to be a scientist, or I always knew I was going to be a discoverer. That it just sounds very, very outlandish. It's a bit of a turnoff. It is a cliche. Avoid those type of cliches. Avoid using other people's quotes. Something that I know that is very, very much not look favorably, starting with a quote. Einstein said that this and this and that quote has inspired me. Well, congratulations. Great for you. You put it on your signature on your emails. It doesn't go on a personal statement. On a personal statement, you want to talk about your passion about, why you're passionate about your science. Unrelated information. If they don't ask you to expand on why you got a C on a class, don't do it that. Maybe ask one of your recommenders to ask that you had some academic issues, but you got over them. If they don't want to find out about, basically go by what they ask you to include and focus on that. So information that is unrelated to your field, information about personal information, what you believe in, what and stuff that is not, you know, religion, politics. They don't take place. They don't shouldn't go in here unless you're studying theology or social science or political science, and you're applying to one of those. In those cases, maybe, but you shouldn't. Do not thesaurize, meaning do not overcomplicate your language. Do not try to sound like an alien that only uses words with 5 or 6 syllables. You want to sound like yourself. You want clear language that is the common on your field. This is a personal statement. It's not a paper. So you want them to be able to meet you through the paper first. You don't want to sound like someone else. They want to talk to you. They want to get to meet you. So you want to talk on reality. Why are you applying? What about you should make them interested in them, you come into their program? They should not have grammar or syntax issues. Make sure somebody reviews it. And also getting the name of the school wrong. When you're applying to a lot of them, that happens. I sat on an admissions committee to a couple of summer programs, and I got more than one every year for those. It's like, I'm applying to Harvard University. It's like, we're in NYU, what? This letter is wrong, it's a different institution. So always, you know, make sure you give it a review. Do not send with a review. Do not send without having somebody else read it. There's personal statement help, as I mentioned on Científico Latino. They have a lot of advice. They also can hook you up with a graduate student that's interested in helping students with this. The Purdue Online Writing Lab has a lot of different things, and particularly for any type of writing. And they have a good section about personal statements. We have the Alan Siegel Writing Center at John Jay College. They have someone there that does, I would say, once every semester, a workshop only on personal statements. The Center for Postgraduate Opportunities also have staff that can help you out. If you're a PRISM student, a student from the Office of Student Research and Creativity, McNair's, Honors, you know you have us. That's what they pay you to look out after you. So use us. No PRISM student should be sending a personal statement without either me or Dr. G reading it. That's what we're here for. As long as you send it on time and you don't leave it for last minute, because we also have 20 other things to do. But we're happy to read it for you, and you should never send one, particularly without checking in with us. Then faculty, also something else I want to tell you, and again, this is more of an insider thing. The program admins if you're part of a program, we don't just work at John Jay. We also do stuff outside of John Jay. We are professionals in our field. We have a network. If you tell us, I cannot wait until I apply to this program because I want to go here because of this, you don't know if I know somebody on that program. So tell me, send me a quick email. By the way, I'm going to apply to all these programs. If I happen to know someone, I might send them a text message or an email and tell them, hey, you're getting an email from a student of mine, look out for it. If you have any questions, let me know. That doesn't guarantee anything, but at least they know that if they are in the site, I don't know about this student, let me pick up and call Ed. Your faculty members, they all had to write personal statements at some point, so might as well use them. And also people that you like and respect because they're good writers. Now, I want to ask DEVON KAAT to join us. He is a student, part of the Office of Student Research and Creativity, and one of their scholars, and he just did a similar research experience, and he wanted to share that with you. DEVON?
Yes. Hey. So yeah, I mean, everything you said is true. I grew up in Wisconsin, and I moved to New York City for college. So right from the get-go, I was in kind of a setting that I was not familiar with, and I wasn't sure how valuable that would be until I was about a year or so in. He mentioned what the value in going somewhere else, right? If you're already doing research or involved in things at John Jay, like what's the point of going somewhere else? And well, there's a lot of things that go with it. So I did my research experience for undergraduate after my freshman year, so the summer before my sophomore year. And I actually found it through the honors program here at the school. But it was advertised through the National Science Foundation. That's one of those kind of experience databases that was brought up before. you can actually go onto the National Science Foundation page and search for research experiences for undergraduate students that, that you are interested in. And the one I did was for crime analytics, extremely attractive name. And when I applied, and I had a few letters of recommendation that I got from a couple of my professors, and I had been part of a research lab at John Jay, so I got a letter of recommendation from the leader there. Yeah, and he put the link for the NSF thing in the chat too. Amazing resource for finding internships, but that's where I applied through. And I got accepted. I had an interview and I got accepted, and I wasn't really sure even at that point what this entailed. I was just trying to get something for the summer. And they basically told me, you're getting a stipend. You're going to relocate to North Carolina for the summer. You're going to be paired with 9 other undergraduate students from all over the nation. You're going to have a dedicated faculty, a group of faculty that are going to attend to what you're doing and kind of lead you through this research process. And you're going to have all of these different labs and tools at your disposal. And these are the initiatives that you're going to be chasing after. These are the questions that you're going to be answering. And I was blown away. So on the initiation day of the research program, I flew down to North Carolina, and they gave me a key to a beautiful dorm. The campus was beautiful. They said, here's your meal card. You get free food and housing for the entire summer. And additionally, you get this large stipend. And for doing what? For doing research that was incredibly interesting. So a lot of these research experiences have multiple initiatives. So on one location, you'll be able to kind of decide what you want to do and then go into that group or that question. The one that I was put in, or the one that I requested to be put in was, oh boy, it's been a while since I put this mouthful out. Real-time object detection using a neural network for police surveillance in parking lots. Okay, so a big mouthful. It was a really niche thing, but it was really awesome. And what they were doing was the folks at UNCC in the engineering department, computer engineering department, were constructing a module that they could fit onto essentially CCTV cameras around the county, the Mecklenburg County of Charlotte. And the cameras would be able to use machine learning algorithms to pick out from a live video feed when a crime is being committed. And this was an incredible question in scope, but they started with just parking lots. And so there was a lot of things that went into it. I learned so much about the general process of doing something that's unprecedented, right? The term they used was bleeding edge, right? This kind of stuff, it's not petty, right? The research programs that are available to you around the country are not small or let's teach them about something. You're actually, a lot of times part of something that's brand new and really cool. And because of that, you get experience in a unique way that nobody else is getting at that time or has ever had before. And the NSF page refreshes all the time. And each site refreshes their questions every single time as well. So there's lots of funding out there, like so much. All of these links that he's putting in the chat are extremely useful for finding research opportunities. If you just spend 30 minutes just browsing, you're going to find probably at least a dozen opportunities that you can look at and apply to that are incredibly interesting specifically for you and the path that you've taken so far. I met some awesome friends, some awesome faculty members at this site. I'm from Wisconsin, so the warm weather was also amazing. I got to see a whole new city, meet a whole bunch of new people, experience a brand new culture, and at the same time, I was paid, my meals were covered, I was housed, and I was able to learn more about computer science and psychology in a brand new, unique setting that I had never, ever even thought of exploring in the past. I literally could not tell you one bad thing about the experience that I did. I was even able to drive back to Wisconsin in the middle of the thing, we had a little bit of a break. And I got to go back and talk to my family about what was going on and see my younger brother graduate. So like the flexibility and the rewards that you get from doing this kind of thing, they're just there's so many of them. It's too many to pass up.
Oh, that's awesome, Davin. So can you stay for a little bit longer in case the students have questions for you? Okay, I'm gonna go quickly over internships. Just want to remind everyone that we're recording this and we show this policy at the top of the event. Just if you don't want your likeness to be recorded or your voice, turn off the mic and turn off the camera. So internships. Internships are a period of work experience offered by an organization for a limited period of time, meaning that it's not permanent job or permanent work. They can be paid or unpaid. They can be official or unofficial, meaning you can do an internship with someone's cousin, or you can do an internship where you're working on an internship program at, I don't know, Abbott or Merck. They can be for credit or not for credit. Some of them will allow you to use it for capstone courses. Some of them will not. And again, there are great opportunity for you to figure out what you like doing by doing it, and also to demonstrate that you can do it by having done it. And if you cannot do it, at least you can witness it. So to find it, we have the Center of Postgraduate Opportunity has a fellowship as a mailing list, a general mailing list for fellowships that they use to share internships with students. You can go to their website and request that you're added. If you're in the science department, again, you get plenty of these from me. You can also go to John Jay Careers Online, which is our database for the Center for Career and Professional Development at John Jay that lists all the internships. We also have an internship fair that I believe is this week or next week. But it's a great opportunity to find on the work experiences. Again, professional organizations, the internet, and networking. You never know who you know that knows someone that can get you an internship. So make sure you explore that too. One of the internship programs that I particularly like is from the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. Mind you, you do not need to be Hispanic to apply. John Jay is a member of HACU. We pay a whole lot of money to it, and way too few of our students end up applying. This internship is awesome. They actually have, if you do it over the summer, they have a leadership institute that you go to DC for a week and you meet everyone that's doing the summer program, the summer internship, and then you go off site, either in DC or somewhere else, to work on a federal agency or a private company that they have requested HACU find them interns for. Most of them are paid, and I believe HACU covers most housing or helps you find housing, but all their internships pay. The other one is Pathways. Pathways is a program from the federal government that's run through usajobs.gov. usajobs.gov is the human resource website of the federal government, and every job in the federal government must be advertised there. And Pathways is a program of, that offers federal internships and can become employment for current students, recent graduates, and students with or people that have finished an advanced degree. I believe you can do up to a year and a half after you graduate. You're still eligible to apply. You're eligible to apply if you're in grad school or right after grad school. There are various different paths to do it. You can have the internships for current students, internships for recent graduates that tend to become jobs, and also the Presidential Management Fellows, which works more on the admin side and works in the administration, in the General Service Administration or other regulatory agencies in the federal government. Again, these are all the Pathways ones are paid by congressional mandate. They have to ensure that you will be learning something new, and also because they're federal and you're going to be working as an employee, you get to and you end up working in the FBI or another agency, it will count towards your experience, which means that instead of retiring in 30 years, you get to retire in 29 years minus 2 months. It also can bump you up on salary schedules that are based on a number of years on the job on a federal position. So other ones is just going to different companies, Amgen, BASF, Novartis, Abbott, AstraZeneca. All these big, ginormous multinational pharma are all based in the US, and they're all gonna have internships here. They're gonna have internships from the accounting department all the way to research and development or to research in manufacturing. They have a lot of them. They're very competitive. They're very well paid. Most of them do not come with housing. So you want to look for the stuff that's around, or you want to, you know, that's what Airbnb is for. It might be able to find something while you find something for the period of time. Or in general, what they do is they put you in touch with previous classes so that they can tell you, oh, this is where I stayed, or give you advice. They have good they also have good networks. New York City, again, there's a whole world west of the Hudson, but there's plenty of work here in New York City too. And on their main HR website, look what's here. They have a search function only for internships and fellowships in the New York City government, including the medical examiner's office and all the cream labs. Huh. Then there are other organizations that put together these programs. For example, for New York City, there's LifeSci New York City, which is a program that on behalf of New York City, where they place students on biotechnology or life science companies. Just because they're biotechnology, life science, they're not just looking for science students, they're looking for computer science students, they're looking for many skills. So look into it. It's not just for biology students. They are paid for, and they're relatively flexible. This year they went all digital, and we had a student doing one of them. And they're going to be here in a few weeks on December the 2nd. So if you want to come and you want to pre-register, you just have to scan with your phone that QR code, and it will take you to register. So go for it. I'm gonna give you a moment to do it. If not, if you're a science department student, you will get this over email. Sorry, I email a lot, you know it. And if you're not a science student, you can always email me and I will get it for you. Then, in order to apply for an internship, all is gonna depend on the internships. They're the ones that are gonna tell you what they require. Most of them are gonna require a resume or a CV. We have a Center for Career and Professional Development at John Jay College, and that's what they do. You pay for their services already. There's no excuse to not have someone there review your resume. There's no excuse to not go over there and talk to one of their career coaches. You're paying for it already. That's what the student fees pay for. That's what, so use them. Only 10% of John Jay students end up in programs, and only 50% of John Jay students end up using our services. There's no excuse for you to use them. Particularly them, they're really good at what they do. Some of them will require a cover letter. Center for Career and Professional Development will help you too. Again, just like with personal statement, generic cover letters are the keys of death of an application. Even if you're applying for a job, writing a letter of recommendation that doesn't describe what the job you're applying and why the specific job you're applying, the specific company, and why you would be a great fit for that company and for that job, might as well don't send anything. I am responsible, once in a while, I've been responsible to hire people here at John Jay and also in private industry. And I can tell you, I see the first thing that I read is the cover letter. If the cover letter doesn't at least list the company, my company or my institution where I'm working, I don't read the rest, because you're not applying to this job. You're sending just the same application everywhere. I don't care. You are desperate for a job? Well, good. At least at a minimum, do me a favor of explaining me why do you want the job. Otherwise, it's not about you. I got, for the last position at PRISM, I got 112 applications. There's plenty of people looking for jobs. It's your responsibility to make sure you put everything out there so that you make it easy for them to want to hire you. So don't make it generic. Mention the job. Mention what are your skills as related to the job. Mention what are the skills required to the job and how do you satisfy them. Explain why are you applying to that specific job. What are you bringing to the position. And how do your interest, skills, or passion match that job description? Meaning every job should have its own individual customized cover letter. This thing about having one cover letter that you send to every job, that doesn't work. Do not do that. I don't know, maybe to look for jobs in retail, okay. But if you're looking for a job as a scientist and as a professional, never do a generic cover letter. Some of them will have an interview and you should treat it like a job. You should prepare, depending on what program you're part of or what your major. You can go to the Center for Career and Professional Development and request interview prep. If you're a PRISM student, we can either give you prep or talk to you about how to prepare for the interview. Same all the other programs like McNair, OSRC, and honors. Just a quick reminder of this because I think this is the end. And I will open this for questions if anybody would like. You can send them over the chat. You can turn on your mic. Up to you. Thank you very much for listening me to speaking for an hour straight without stopping.
I have a question, Ed, if nobody else does. So first of all, you're going to send this PowerPoint to me, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and I will definitely make sure it's available through my website, and it will stay there so people can go back and use it as a reference and a source. And then you mentioned a couple of internship opportunities. Haku, for example. Is Haku offering specifically research opportunities, or is it generally internships?
My understanding is internships. Some of them might be science-based on the federal agencies and labs, but they offer, I don't know if they have research ones, but they run the gamut of everything done in the federal government.
Okay. And the Career Center, which has the internship office, right? It's part of the Career Center. Do you know if they have a database specifically for research internships, or is it just all?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I'm just asking that because I would want to have something like that for my office that identifies specifically research internships, but that's obviously a lot of work.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions. Let's see. Isabella, how will COVID affect? What I don't know what's going to be on 2021, no one knows, but what I can tell you is what happened in 2020. And most programs were virtual, and particularly in research experience, again, research happens here, not here. So what they were doing were reading journals, reading articles, coming up with new questions, doing literature reviews, analyzing data, reusing data to look at them from a different perspective, and it's stuff that was done from home. Some programs got canceled. Some programs were gave a chance to the student to apply next year if they were still if they're still an undergrad. But I don't know what's going to happen. But most of them most REUs went virtual this past summer. Then is it too late to apply to undergraduate internships if you're a senior? It depends. Every program is different. Most undergraduate research programs and REU, it is too late if you're a senior already, because they want you in between your freshman and sophomore, sophomore and junior and senior years. After you graduate, you're no longer an undergraduate. Therefore, you do not fit the description of what the program is for. Also, it's considered too late. By then, according to the policy, you should be applying to graduate schools. If you're planning to do research in biomedical sciences, there are other opportunities. And internships per se, not the summer research programs, internship per se, there's a whole diversity to do them. And as I showed with Pathways and with Haku, you can apply up to a year or 2 years after you graduate. If you plan to go to grad school, how early is it too early for undergrad career to apply to research program? It's too early before you start college. You don't self-exclude. You don't know that anything is for certain. Apply as a freshman. Maybe you get in, maybe you don't get in. The worst thing that can happen is that you don't get in. The best that you can happen is that you get into all of them. If you don't get in, you at least went through the experience, and the next time that you apply, you will not start from zero, and you will be able to then work on it and build on it. You can potentially email the people at the programs and ask them, hi, I applied last year, I'm planning to apply this year. Can you give me any advice on how to improve my application? Sometimes they do, sometimes they ignore it, but sometimes they do. Never self-exclude. Oh, I'm too young to do this. Oh, I don't know if I am. The worst thing in the world is to not have opportunities. Actually, no. The worst thing in the world is to have a job that you hate. That is the worst thing in the planet. So that's why I am very strong proponent of everyone experiencing the job before they get to it, or experiencing their desired getting that experience. Second worst thing in the planet is to not have any opportunities. If you don't apply for them, you're not gonna get them. Then again, look at the program description. Some of them say, freshmen don't apply, seniors don't apply. We're only looking for students between their second and third year. Then others is, we don't care, whatever it is. It depends on the institution. So about applying to research programs that you're not in the field for in grad school. It depends, Cynthia, it depends a lot. So it depends. If you're planning to go into medicine and you apply to a program that you are going to, that is only for research and mostly for the PhD size, and what you want is an MD, doing one of those research programs is not gonna be good for you. It's not gonna give you any clinical experiences. It's not gonna allow you to get any experience. So look for programs related to what you want to go into grad school, even if it doesn't match your major. If you end up going to a program and then going into a different career, that's okay. It's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to give you any particular strong help. It's just going to look as a good line on your resume, but it's not going to be like, aha, they have the experience that we like because you didn't get an experience. Last disclaimer for this, research happens here, not here. It's not about the technique. It's not about the machine. It's not about the field. Research in psychology, research in biology, research in physics. It's all about getting an understanding of what we know, understanding what we don't know, coming up with a question, a hypothesis, and a way to test it. That's the research part. The rest is bench work. The rest is just technical aspects that are done either by you. And by the way, most scientists don't work in a bench. Most scientists work in the office writing grants so they can get money so they can do research, and then they hire people to do it, or they get undergraduates like you guys to do the actual bench work for them. Just, it depends. There's no clear answer. I'm answering like a good scientist. We never give straight up answers. But in this case, there's such many and so many different programs that I don't want to turn you off. So look for them. Okay, which academic year in college is recommended to pursue a summer internship? Generally, again, I would suggest you start apply. If you want to apply as a freshman, go for it. Most programs look the second or third summer. By then, the student has taken all introductory classes. They have gotten enough lab experiences, particularly in STEM, so that they're not going to set the labs on fire, which is very important. And they're going to come in with some understanding of the technique, and some theoretical and practical understanding of the technique. For different disciplines, is going to be different. In other words, Kaylee, don't limit yourself. Apply whenever, but just make sure that you don't leave it for the last minute. You want to apply before you finish your education. Andrea, it depends what type of program you want to go into. The question, if you want to go to graduate school, should we try research program first or an internship? As I mentioned at the beginning, the best way to demonstrate that you can do something is to haven't done it. In grad school, what you do is you take, particularly towards the PhD, you take classes the first 2 years, the rest 3, 4, 5, X number of years, you're going to be doing research full time. So demonstrating that you have already done research carries more weight than you work in a clinical lab where you were processing samples. Processing samples, technique. Research, asking questions, coming up with a hypothesis, figuring out how to test them. See the difference? So Andrea, it depends on the type of grad school that you want to go to. Michelle asked where is this going to be available on. You can
I
email
shared the
me.
link.
You can email me, or Bettina Munster, who's the director of the Office of Student Research and Creativity, can give it to you.
I shared it already.
If I were to apply to an internship this summer, would I be considered a second or third year? You're currently a second undergraduate student. By next fall, will be in third year, sorry. Isabella, it doesn't matter. What I can tell you is that you're no longer a freshman. So generally programs are gonna tell you no freshmen, we don't care, or no students that have graduated already. So it depends on the program. So get looking for them. I'm a senior, I want to get more experience before I apply to grad school. What kind of program should I think about? Internship, postbac program, or should I go get a job fair? It depends, Sichuan. Your goal is, we should sit down and talk. So make an appointment with me, because I think your interests have shifted from the first conversation we had a year and a half ago, and I want to learn more about it so I can help you more. I think in your case, we should be looking to postbacks, although you're gonna go in with 2 solid research experiences by the time you graduate. So I believe that you're ready to apply to grad school right now, but let's talk.
Okay, thank you.
Will being a freshman and not being able to have in-person classes possibly affect our chances for a program since we don't have that experience or being in a lab? Nicholas, everyone's going through COVID. Everyone is stuck in their home. We're all in the same field. It's going to affect everyone the same way, therefore it will not really affect us. All things being equal, we're all going through the same thing. So of course, they're gonna is going to affect us, but they're also gonna take into consideration that, and by the way, this is not, I know that you guys are having these conversations among yourselves and people keep bringing them on. Trust me, on our side, we're having, particularly in STEM, and not just at John Jay, but I have this conversation with people all the time. How are we going to evaluate students that are applying to medical school? How are we going to apply, evaluate students that are applying to grad school if they haven't touched a pipette in a research lab, if they haven't had a one-on-one research mentor opportunity? We don't know, but we're looking into it and we're coming up with ways of trying to evaluate it. What I can tell you is that a strong letter of recommendation that is not generic and can talk about you by providing examples, meaning this student has great communication skills, as when he took the opportunity to present to the class and didn't just do the minimum, but did a presentation in which he brought animation and had clear slides and inspired people to ask questions. That is a great thing in a recommendation letter. And you don't have to have done bench work. Everyone is going through the same thing. All things being equal, everything is the same. So is it problematic? Yeah. But everybody is aware of it. It's not just here at John Jay. Every school, well, okay, there's some schools that opened, but the students are not in the labs. Only grad students are being allowed in labs throughout the US. So I wouldn't worry that much about it. And I would just cleanly on the personal statement specify if you don't feel that you have enough bench work or technical experience. I'm looking forward to this research experience because of COVID. I didn't get to do the lab for Gen Bio. So I think that giving this experience will make me a stronger student and will set me up on my way to become a professional in science, in biology or chemistry. Use it as a way to sell yourself. By the way, the next class is gonna start pretty soon. You don't have to stay. I'll stay only if you have questions or if you enjoy the sound of my voice, by the way. Any questions for Devon about his experience, particularly because his was not necessarily on what we consider STEM? Any other questions? Any nightmares? Night terrors? Any good news anybody would like to share? We need them. Okay, Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. I'm gonna turn off the recording.